Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the First Universalist Church of Yarmouth. Happy almost spring. My name is Joanna Landsman. I am a member of the Worship Council and of the Board of Trustees, and I am so glad to be greeting you this morning. A warm welcome to friends gathered here in our sanctuary, as well as to our friends joining us on Zoom. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and to engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take these words to heart. If this is your first time in our congregation, welcome. We invite you to fill out a connection card that's located in the pew in front of you so that we may connect you with events and programs that interest you. You can drop this in the offering plate when it's passed later in the service. For those of you joining us with young children, nursery care is available during our service for babies and toddlers. Our nursery is located at the end of the hallway on the left. Now, our service today is multi-generational. Instead of children having their own children's chapel, all ages are welcome to stay in our sanctuary and participate in this special worship in honor of the Spring Equinox. Before we begin, I have 3 announcements this morning. First, following our service today, Reverend Hillary will host a discussion up here in the sanctuary on vulnerability, which is our Soul Matters theme for the month. The conversation will begin at 11:45 and go to about 12:30, and everyone is welcome to join in for spirited and spiritual conversation. Second, we are still looking for a few more folks to commit to evening and overnight shifts at the State Street Warming Shelter at the end of this month. More information about this important opportunity is in your Sunday morning news. So if you have any questions, please reach out to Reverend Hillary. And finally, next Saturday is the Main Farm Supper. Oh boy, if you haven't been to one before, you have to come. You can pre-order online. All proceeds will go to MANA, which is the Maine Association for New Americans, and we hope to see you there. But I now invite you to take a deep breath as we settle into this time together. Our music director, Sam Chandler, and the members of the choir will lead us into our worship.
Thank you, choir. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Did anyone wake up early enough this morning to see the snow squall come in for about an hour? Oh, that was special. That was a special penultimate day of spring occurrence, let me tell you. I'm Reverend Hillary. I serve as the minister here at First U. And it is with springy peace and friendship that I say, whoever you are, wherever you're from, whomever you love, whatever it is you have done or haven't done or totally forgot to do, you are welcome here. And we're so glad you're here. Friends, tomorrow evening at 5:24 p.m., the Earth will tilt in such a way that the North and South poles will be equally distant from the sun. The result? The exact same amount of daytime hours as nighttime hours, and the official vernal equinox, which means, I just saw one, yes, which means the official beginning of spring, yes, woo! For the winter lovers, you had your time, you had a lot of snow, it was very cold, I hope you enjoyed it. It's time. Happy almost spring, my friends. Today we offer a service for all ages in celebration of this change of seasons, a thank you to winter and a welcome to the spring, and a gentle and joyful wake up to Earth and all her living creatures, including us. To celebrate the emergence of this hopeful month, I share a springtime poem this morning, my favorite poem by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their head in sprightly dance. And the waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. When oft on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. It's so good. Good morning, my friends. It's good to be with you on this penultimate winter morning. Let's take a moment now and turn to our neighbors, wish them a good morning and a happy almost spring. Our opening hymn this morning is the first two verses of Wake Now My Senses, number 298 in your gray hymnal. Will you rise in body and spirit with me? please remain standing for our unison affirmation?
The words can be found and printed in your order of worship. We are united in seeking to increase love with justice and to constitute a free church open to all people. Mindful of our past and drawing upon modern knowledge, we respond to the spiritual needs of persons and are devoted to the common good in community, nation, and world. We cherish the integrity of each individual and search for truth with reason as our guide. We respect differences of opinion and strive to be a democratic community. We are concerned with this world and open to the future. All right, you may be seated. If there's any children who'd like to come forward and help me light the chalice, please come on up. Hi, Teddy. Hi. All right, we're gonna light the chalice together and we'll say our chalice lighting words in our big voices, right? And everyone will join in. Okay. We light our chalice in peace and friendship. I'm gonna pull it out. Good job, thank you. You can go take a seat. When you look at a daffodil, there's a lot of things you may notice. They kind of have these distinct trumpet-shaped flowers. They have these beautiful green leaves. But almost no one notices this tiny part right back here, this little part here. Very soon, that part is actually going to wither and turn brown right at the base of the flower. So why? Why is there this little part that just dies when the flowers are blooming? When the daffodils come up from the ground, it's still pretty hard, and sometimes there's even cold and snow when those first little daffodil shoots come up. So this is a tough green protector of the daffodils. So as it gets warmer, the daffodils don't need that anymore. They don't need that tough exterior. So it withers and shrivels and dies. What can we learn from this? Well, often in our lives, just as for the daffodils, some part of us has to shrivel up so that some other new part of us can grow and give beauty to the world. Oddly enough, though, this dead, shriveled part of the daffodil doesn't fall away. There are two more things we can learn from a daffodil to help ourselves and each other. One, we can be brave and wise enough when the right time comes to push out from under the tough skins of our souls that protect us, from all that is hard and harsh that can damage the more fragile parts of ourselves. We can let some parts of ourselves die so that new parts of ourselves can live in beauty. Two, we can hold on to the shriveled up dead bits, especially if doing so helps us to remember and honor and value all parts of ourselves, all parts of our experience. Just because we don't need that part or that way of being in the world now doesn't mean that part has no value. It was very necessary to have that protection and very good to remember and appreciate it now.
Everything serves a purpose in nature. Friends, we now come to the time in our service that we set aside for quiet prayer and meditation. This can be a time to reflect on the events of the past week, look forward to what might come in the days ahead, offer a prayer of loving kindness to someone in need of loving kindness, or simply be here now, in this moment, and all it offers in sensations and emotions. Following our time of quiet, I'll ring a chime, and all are welcome to come forward and light a candle for a joy, sorrow, or concern you have today. Won't you join me, though, first in taking a deep, refreshing breath in, a calming breath out, and settle into a sacred time of quiet. Will you join me in another short moment of quiet, my friends? For all that has been said, for all we hold inside, for all we simply do not have the words to explain, we hear you, we hold you, and we pray for your immediate comfort, continued joy, a path forward, and the seeds of peace right now. Let it be so, and amen. Mac, do you have a lesson about spring for us?
All right, let me ask you a question and think about it. Where were you happiest as a child? For me, I was happiest when I was outside. Specifically, I was happiest when I was in my backyard, in the spring, the ground spongy and de-thawed, the sunshine on my face, the promise of warmer days, and my favorite craft material in the world right at my fingertips. I'm talking about mud, y'all. The muse of my favorite Rick Charette song. You may have heard it before. Mud, mud, I love mud. I'm absolutely positively wild about mud. I can't go around it, I have to go through it. Beautiful, fabulous, super duper mud. I still sing that to myself daily. I experienced pure joy as a kid whenever I got to play with mud. I loved mud and the joy that spring brought with it. The mess, the melt, my whole backyard felt goopy and moldable. Sure, my world was in transition. The seasons were changing, and something beautiful, messy, and misunderstood came with it. Mud. Did you know that there is actual scientific proof that playing in the dirt and playing with mud makes you happier? Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. I didn't. I learned this week. Mud contains what scientists call friendly bacteria, Mycobacterium vaccae. The University of Bristol and the University College London did an experiment with mice, watching their brain composition before playing in mud or dirt and after playing in mud. Studies showed that bacteria in dirt activated neurons that produce serotonin, a brain chemical that regulates a person's mood. So these mice were scientifically happier, or at least had more brain chemicals impacting their mood positively, after scurrying around in the mud. How cool is that? It makes sense to me. When I taught elementary school, the best days of spring and summer were when I watched my students dig into the mud. And I remember my colleagues looking at me like, "Are you ready to deal with this mess? The cleanup?" And the answer for me is always yes. Yes, yes. Because I swear, it was genuinely the happiest I ever saw my students. And that is saying something. So maybe, next time you're feeling sad or bummed or defeated, you should step outside and dig. Make a mud pie. Plant a seed. Your brain will thank you for it.
Tell that to my dog. This morning's offering is on behalf of MANA, or MANA, which is the Maine Association for New Americans. It's an immigrant-led nonprofit based in Portland, responding to many needs of the new Mainer community. MANA's 3 programs creatively bridge community gaps: transportation to medical, social services, and immigration appointments, safe one-on-one and group support, and matching volunteers with asylum seekers to ease the transition to Greater Portland. Our half plate today will be the seed money for a new youth outreach fund to organize community events and outings with youth. Imagine field trips this spring and summer to explore our state and local parks. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. For those in the sanctuary this morning, we will be passing the offering plate to one another. And for those gathered on Zoom, you are invited to make your offering by clicking the donate button in the order of worship or by dropping a check in the mail. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. So I was talking over this Spring Equinox worship plan with Tizzy and Luna, these two freeloading greyhounds who lounge around my house all day. And I was telling them how Gwen, Mac, and I were planning to talk about some interesting and important things that happen in spring during this service. Things that remind us that there's much we can learn from this liminal season, much that spring teaches us about ourselves and each other, about the interconnectedness of all things, how spring reminds us that we too are a part of nature, not separate from it. And so yeah, I'm telling Tizzy and Luna about our spring service using increasingly florid and inspiring and theological language. And I was just about to quote, Keats or Shelley, maybe a little Emerson, when suddenly their eyes caught sight of a movement outside the window. The unmistakable movement of that familiar gray fluff on the bird feeder. And both hounds sprung from their resting places like crocus springing from the mud and ran to the window, brows furrowed, gaze steady. I understood immediately that they had interrupted my romantic reverie to say, squirrels. Squirrels are the most interesting and important thing that happens in spring. Or they said something like that. I don't know quite how they phrased it, but the declaration was clear. We care about squirrels. Never one to turn away from the messages of the universe, I honored their sentiment and Googled interesting and important things about squirrels. And my friends, it is true. Squirrels are, in fact, interesting and important. And there is much we can learn from them, particularly about vulnerability and making mistakes. You see, squirrels spend a great deal of time collecting nuts and seeds, acorns, beech nuts, pine cones, chestnuts, whatever they can grab out of your bird feeder. And throughout the fall, they bury these seeds in various locations around their dwelling area, a behavior called caching. Since they don't hibernate, these stores of seeds ensure that the squirrels have something to eat throughout the winter. It is believed that one squirrel, caches around 10,000 nuts and seeds each year across about 7 acres of land. Yeah. And here's the relatable part, the lesson on vulnerability. Squirrels forget where they buried a lot of these seeds. Squirrelologists, yes, squirrelologists, suspect that squirrels forget where they put about 30 to 40% of the seeds that they cache each year. This forgetfulness has resulted in squirrels being given the epithet nature's gardener because they end up accidentally planting thousands of trees and plants. Their forgetfulness leads to the propagation of native plants, forest regeneration, and woodland expansion. I am sure, they beat themselves up all the time about forgetting where they left that perfect nut. And yes, the nuts they bury are perfect. They eat the ones that are damaged right away and bury the good ones because they know the better nuts will withstand the winter and in turn have a much better chance of growing into a tree when a squirrel forgot where he put it later on. Squirrels are basically protectors of the forest ecosystem by mistake. So, what can we learn from squirrels today? As I see it, 3 things. 1, it is okay to be forgetful and make mistakes. Mistakes can make the world healthier, a more fertile place for growth. 2, maybe instead of losing our minds when a squirrel ransacks the bird feeder, we can instead tell ourselves that he must have forgotten where he buried a nut. And a tree is growing as he eats his fill of the songbird mix. And 3, yes, Tizzy, Luna, there is such a thing as squirrelology. Happy spring, everyone. Be kind to yourselves and each other and to your local squirrel.
All right. Now we're going to be passing around baskets of bulbs. Please take one bulb from the basket and pass it on to your neighbor.
While we pass our baskets of bulbs, these are a variety of bulbs, and they are flowers that will grow in the summer, so you can plant them now. After the last frost. After the last frost, plant them about 2 inches deep in the soil, and it will start to shoot up within a few weeks later, and it is okay if you forget where you planted it. Does everyone have a bulb at this point? Yes? Anyone not have one? Ruth? Ruth and Dorothy? It's important to have some liminal waiting time during our spring equinox service. Once you have your bulb, hold that bulb in your hand, gently, reverently, with care for the promise of life that it holds.
Touch the outside of your bulb. What does it feel like? Is the delicate paper still attached? Feel the weight of the bulb in your hand. It is so small, so light, barely there.
Bring the bulb up close to you so you can look more closely at it.
What do you notice when you look at your bulb? Have the roots begun to push downwards? Is there a small shoot pushing from the top to greet the sun?
If you'd like, you can close your eyes now while you continue to hold the bulb in your hand.
Imagine your bulb's dormancy, a sleep so deep that it almost seems as if life isn't there at all.
Imagine the cozy plant dreams of fresh raindrops and plentiful sunshine.
Imagine how snug this bulb will be, planted in rich, dark soil, waiting for its chance to grow.
This sleeping seed, this tiny thing, this thing that seems to not be living at all, this is the promise of future life, the promise of life sustained and life renewed.
After its rest, after the rain comes, and after the soil begins to warm, this bulb will wake up.
And not only will this bulb in your hands wake up, but so will thousands, perhaps millions, perhaps billions of other bulbs.
This is the time when our natural world here in Maine begins to wake up. Tiny shoots push up through the melting snow. The smallest buds form on trees. Everything begins again.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it in your hand? This living potential, this life ready to burst forth?
Open your eyes. It is time to wake up to spring.
Yes. And when you're ready, you can rise in body and spirit and join us in singing the next two verses, verse 3 and 4 of Wake Now, My Senses, number 298.
Wake now, compassion, give heed to the call. Voices of suffering, the white sky.
You may be seated, friends. As many of us love the spring and love the earth, we close our service in celebration of the spring equinox now with a gentle and joyful wake up to the earth. And perhaps some of us need a gentle and joyful wake up too.
For months, the earth and many of her plants and creatures have been asleep under the blanket of winter, but it is time to wake up. Wake up to spring and the possibility of new life and new growth ahead.
In a moment, we will say a wake-up blessing for the earth. But to do so, we need your help. If you haven't discovered it already, in your pew, you have a ribbon wand. These wands have lots of different magical powers, but today, they are magical wake-up wands, waving a rousing blessing of thanks, joy, and love to our beautiful earth.
If you have a yellow wand, then your wand is a wake-up blessing for the sun. And if you have a blue wand, your wand is a blessing for the water.
Okay, if your wand is like peach, the word Gwen used was champagne this morning. If you have like a pale white wand, your wand is a wake up for the wind. And if it has orange in it, it might also have a little yellow. Some of these might be mixed a little bit. Wave them all the time, there's no wrong way. But if your wand has some orange in it, orange is for the earth.
Green ribbons are for plants, and pink and purple ribbons are for flowers.
Now, when you hear the word your wand symbolizes, wave it in the air. For instance,
Don't worry, there's no wrong way. It's okay. It is okay. Spring is gonna happen, okay?
for instance, if I talk about the sun shining on the earth, orange, yes, wave your yellow ribbons and orange ribbons.
What about the wind? Peach ribbons blowing across the water. Yes, whitish peach and blue. Or the beauty of springtime plants and flowers. Green and pink and purple.
All right, I feel more awake already. Shall we offer this spring blessing of awakening now to our beautiful earth? Yes. Okay, remember to listen for your words. Sun, yellow, sun. Orange, earth. The champagne wind. The blue water. The green plants. The pink and purple flowers. All right.
Oh wait, Hillary, you forgot something, kind of like a squirrel. When we say wake up, everybody wave your ribbons all at once. Okay, let's try it. Wake up. Oh, beautiful.
It looks really cool.
Pete, can I get you to turn the camera that way? Because that is so much more exciting than us. Thank you.
Oh wait, hang on, my ribbons got all tangled. There's a little symbiosis happening here. Hang on, there we go. All right. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's take a deep, fresh spring breath and offer this wake up springtime blessing. Earth, beloved mother, the sun shines warmer and the days are longer now. It's time to wake up.
Earth, our only home. Your plants have been sleeping under the blanket of winter. It is time to wake up.
Earth, we love you, and we give thanks for the softening winds of spring. It is time to wake up.
Earth, you amaze us. We are ready to marvel at the scents and colors of your flowers. It is time to wake up.
This just makes me so happy, sorry.
Let's just make up more. Keep doing it.
Beautiful.
Earth, our life-giving and sustaining home, thank you for your winds that carry the seeds from the flowers. Thank you for your fresh waters that nourish the plants. Thank you for shade and sun.
Earth, place of water and wind, plants and flowers, shade and sun, thank you for waking us up. We love you, and we will care for you as you care for us. Happy spring, everyone. Amen. Wake up! Wake up, wake up! Our choir will close our service now with the choral benediction.
You'll hear some familiar words, I think, in this piece, so feel free to wave away.
That was fun. So I invite you now to join me in reciting our unison benediction, which is printed in your order of worship. For those who come seeking God, may God go with you. For those who come embracing life, may life return your affection. For those who come to seek a path, may a way be found and the courage to take it step by step. And please enjoy Sam's postlude. Hope to see you all at coffee hour.